I think GuMiho has a small edge, but I honestly don't know that much about this upcoming TvT series to make a proper prediction. I'm expecting Bio against Bio, but if anybody's going to go mech, it probably has to be GuMiho. We know that he does love it, and he has done it a lot in the past.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if he can pull it off. We'll see. Would be fun to see a little bit of mech, but I'm giving a small edge to GuMiho, but other than that, I really think it's anybody's game.
Any more thoughts, Todd? Tasteless?
I don't, you know, it is a tough matchup to call. I'm kind of agreeing with Rotterdam here. I think GuMiho probably wins that, but jjakji is solid. I would not be blown away if jjakji were to win the series.
jjakji's always felt like the guy who, as you say, is like the more bio-centric player, going for drops, just trying to hit people at every single angle, whereas GuMiho just building up those bulk armies, similar to what we've seen even Innovation do in some TvTs against jjakji in the past.
Yeah, GuMiho is like one of those guys who are like, if he busts out some mech, you're not even surprised.
Yes.
Like it's his bread and butter, so it would be cool to see that.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. We'll check in with some more games later on down the line. For now, though, let's head over to the caster's desk here to see who is going to qualify for the group stage for the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
G'day guys, Maynard and Pig here. We cannot get enough of each other, and we cannot get enough of StarCraft II, which has been happening all day here. We're actually nearing the end of the Group 3 here of this open bracket for day number 2. And we're going to get ourselves a TvT in this semi-final, I suppose, to see who goes along with Nurchio through the next round. Spodek.
GuMiho up against jjakji. Wow, my brain. jjakji, of course, as you guys would have seen if you were watching during the break and during the analysis desk, down there on the bottom, it did say he's lost his last 4 matches against GuMiho. GuMiho has just been, you know, really this kind of outlandish Terran who plays these very strange styles, but overall very solid, and he's really capable of dancing with the best of them. jjakji, I don't really see him as TvT being his forte.
Yeah, he does seem like a TVZ kind of guy, but in the top right here, let's introduce these players. On Psystorm, the NA team, this is GuMiho, the Tau Terran. What a nickname.
Of course, yeah, he does play with that towel over his mouse as he does sweat a lot. He's a guy who's great in frantic situations. Of course, his opponent down here at the bottom left-hand side of Proxima Station, it is jjakji.
So both of these guys are kind of in the same boat. They're Terrans that haven't had a huge career-making victory. And they've been so close to it, though, so many times. I mean, jjakji actually has been a champion, but a long, long time
2011,
ago.
right?
Exactly. It was like nearly the beginning of
Whoa.
StarCraft. And GuMiho's come close so many times.
Of course, GuMiho's probably most famous moment was when he all-killed Slayers in the GSTL Finals back in 2013, I want to say, the start of 2013. You know, GuMiho, I'll never forget that tournament because he had so many of these messy, chaotic games. They were all over the place, and you could see him just like frantically playing in these chaotic games, always microing 3 or 4 places at once. And that was really what I think originally he was identified as. He was a random player before then as well, so he always enjoyed
wasn't he?
this big kind of, let's play heaps of different styles, let's love the chaos. And these days, a lot of people know him as the mech guy. He's the guy who, when the battlecruiser got its change in the recent patch, started rushing battlecruisers in serious online tournaments. So he's just like a real innovator of strategies, and someone a lot of Terran players love to watch to see something of a different flavor.
I have to agree, as a Terran player myself, he's always fun to watch. You know, a lot of guys, you know, my Terran brethren, a lot of them are huge fans of GuMiho. He just seems to be like someone that discovers the next step in Terran builds. You see that GuMiho's SCV did come out a look here. See, there's a Reaper expand here from jjakji, and sorry, from GuMiho, and jjakji is going for the double gas 1-1-1 sort of build here with an expansion to the back.
Interestingly, the second gas did go down a little bit quicker here for jjakji. So looks like he may be going up to something like Ravens, or I mean, we don't really see Cloak Banshees much in the current meta because everyone builds Ravens, but you never know.
GuMiho make them against Arcta, I guess, but
okay.
Yeah, that was
there is still, of course, there's still one guy who's who's going to throw in the Banshee once in a while.
You do see it from time to time for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so GuMiho is usually, this is kind of a build I think most Terrans like to go for the fast Raven, you know, get those Vikings up to be safe against things like Cloak Banshee, and then make a Banshee of their own. But on maps, like I want to say this map and Honor Grounds, when you have that sort of in-base expansion, the fast expand builds do come out. You do tend to see the quick 1-1-1 though, and we do see Cloak on the way here for GuMiho.
And no fear of cyclones or anything like that either, because it's this tight ramp on Proxima. We've got actually Widow Mines coming out for both players, and even a bunker on the ramp there for jjakji. Now, interestingly, Cloak has started up here for GuMiho, so behind this opening, he's going to be going for Cloaked Banshees, and that's really cool because even though Ravens can detect them, auto turrets can shoot them down, the Banshee has a lot of maneuverability. You can dance around. There's a lot of dead space on this map, so there's a lot of room for those Banshees to find angles. And if jjakji slips up at all, doesn't have a Raven or turrets in the right position, then he can take a lot of damage.
That is a huge feature of the map. I'm glad you brought that up. The dead space on this map, Liberator range being a problem for Protoss on this map as well.
We saw quite a bit of that yesterday.
Yeah, sure we did.
Bit of the Ziggy range Liberator
Good
build
old
coming
Ziggy.
out.
And there's a planet down there. Thank you, Mr. Observer. And yeah, so Cloak Banshee gonna hit pretty shortly. First Banshee is out. Second one on the way with Cloak coming through. Viking heading across here. GuMiho seeing that Viking with the Reaper. Oh, that Banshee, be careful. She doesn't have Cloak just yet.
Good adjustment by GuMiho to keep that out of vision, and he's continuing to come in. This is actually very dangerous, this angle he's coming in from.
The in this
Widow Mine is even actually looking like it's going to spot this. Banshee just coming in, absolutely no fear from GuMiho, wants to start putting the hurt on, does drop that Cloak. That's a lot of Marines and a Viking though. He's got to keep moving.
He may actually get out of this, and he will. Yeah, the Viking did hit, but he's outside of the detection range. Oh, the turret sorts him out. And yeah, didn't get to utilize that dead space. And now both players, well, we see jjakji getting that Raven first, of course, and GuMiho following it up, because it is just such a strong unit in TvT and one of the more interesting units that the Terran has in their arsenal. The ability to do damage, spend that energy to do a whole ton of damage, and also detect as well. Really is a staple in TvT.
Interestingly, there's a lot of tanks already out for GuMiho. jjakji has got his first tank out now. So far, jjakji just looking like he wants to turtle up, and I think this is such a great way to play this map. He's got the faster third command center, only by a few seconds, but still it is there faster, and he's just shutting down everything GuMiho's trying to do. And, I mean, we talked about GuMiho as this master of chaos. Why not just slow the game down, get into that mid-game? I think jjakji is probably, a little bit cleaner in the early game macro.
Yeah, he's going to have his stim a fair bit earlier as well. See that GuMiho, unfortunately for mech heads out there, are not going to be able to see mech from GuMiho.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the only hope of a Terran that would bust it out.
I was hoping for it as well. But, I mean, the maneuverability of those Marines combined with the hard-hitting power of those siege tanks is such a good way to play it. And GuMiho continuing to be as annoying as possible with that Widow Mine.
Yeah, just going to sort out that Widow Mine so he can clear out that third base location. So we see that GuMiho seems to already have his underway.
Pretty much a mirrored game so far. The only deviation being that Cloaked Banshees, but everything else is just typical third command center, double upgrades, lots of bio on the way. We will be curious to see if one player decides to go for a fast second factory. We're going to be also keeping an eye out for medevac versus Viking focus. Does one player want to focus on that air superiority and push back the enemy siege lines with Liberators? That's going to become very important as the game does go on. The
2 Viking single Raven squad is actually pretty standard and very, very strong. If you're up against a Terran that isn't so focused on Viking production and favor getting medevacs for their bio. Of course, medevacs not only heal Marines, give you the ability to drop on the opponent.
Oh, nice position here from GuMiho.
Yeah,
jjakji's actually going to try to get on top of it, but those auto turrets are going to be the saving grace for jjakji. He does manage to blast his way through that line, just barely.
Ooh, this Banshee though.
Ooh, that is going to maybe get some more damage done, but so far all the siege tanks are alive. There we go. So GuMiho does manage to kill one tank, but at the end of that, jjakji, a good hold. Shuts down all of GuMiho's siege tanks, resets that count, doesn't take any economic damage. Very good defense.
And he had +1 during that attack as well, so another advantage, making things a little bit easier for jjakji here. And GuMiho is going to start getting that sensor tower up. It is about sensor tower o'clock. Doom dropping is a thing that's been a topic of discussion as to the state of TvT amongst Terrans all over social media and wherever you look. And this is sort of the start of the tool to be able to deal with it. GuMiho is taking no chances. He's dropping a ton of turrets right now. 4 turrets going down with the sensor tower. Nice spread here for GuMiho.
This is a good decision considering we have seen GuMiho in the past favor that Viking play, more static play, whereas jjakji here, a much more drop-focused Terran. You see he's already got a drop on the top side and a drop going around the right-hand side as well. He's going to start looking for these angles. Meanwhile, non-stop medevac production is on the way behind this.
All this back actually looks quite naked here, and a drop with a couple siege tanks and some Marines will actually be quite devastating, I feel, for GuMiho.
Very nice siege up on the back of the natural. Already 6 SCVs falling. A drop comes in onto the third from the front as well. Sieging up that tank, the auto turret, the Banshee and the Marines will be able to break through, but at the same time, the back natural taking massive damage.
jjakji's everywhere, and he has double the army supply of GuMiho, more than double. He got to hit the front and the north here with the drop as well, hitting for the north and the south. Well played by jjakji, doing a lot of damage, and GuMiho's being spread very thin here.
What a great maneuver there. You know, GuMiho just got his double sensor tower up, kind of had a false sense of security, but didn't quite see that drop coming in early enough, and this is just taking so long to clean up.
Even
if he just crushed this right now, GuMiho would still be way behind, but to take even more damage on the third base, Maynard, this is incredible.
This looks almost game-ending critical damage here by jjakji, just killing all the workers, 34 SCVs going down. Funnily enough, I can't believe that GuMiho is still only 20 SCVs, but that is still a lot of SCVs to be down here. And you got to be feeling it for GuMiho. He's lost his back expansion as well. Had to be pulled back, not mining from it at all. And I mean, jjakji is just ahead by 60 supply here. He's ahead in every single way.
I got to be critical of that sensor tower. The one on the left, notice how it doesn't really reach the very top of the map.
Yeah, there is some dead space.
You can see there was that whole dead space area where those medevacs were right in through the main base and beyond that before he even spotted it. So GuMiho making a fundamental mistake with his building placement here on Proxima Station. jjakji noticing that, took advantage of it, and is now way ahead. But GuMiho not going to give up that easily. Yes, he's down in most regards, but he's still got decent infrastructure up. He can recover. He just needs to defend, and try to get up to a really powerful army. And he needs to not let a Doom drop land in his main base.
Well, that's a good cluster of Vikings, and they are actually, we saw the shift click here of jjakji. So GuMiho, if he kills a couple of medevacs here, that is actually going to be a start. That's going to be a step on the long ladder of coming back in this game.
GuMiho actually going to go out with a counter drop as well. That might even be able to be diverted to catch some of these, but it's all about these Vikings. Oh, nice Viking volleys. They managed to take down one medevac with a few Marines in it, damaging another medevac, and most importantly, spots this drop, doesn't let that get into his main base.
Yeah, stops the Doom drop dead in its tracks, keeping him alive for now, but he is still against the ropes to say the least. Damage going down the back natural. GuMiho has retaken it. He's muscling back this this drop of jjakji, or sorry, jjakji's muscling back GuMiho from that location. So he's going to be all over that.
Nice cleanup there. Gets rid of that last Banshee on the map, does jjakji. Of course, GuMiho would have maybe been able to get a bit more utility out of that if he kept it alive, but wasn't quite able to. 3-2 is now on the way. So GuMiho is keeping his upgrades going very well, and he's making an interesting decision here. He rebuilt a couple of SCVs, but that's it. He's not going to focus on it anymore. He knows he's way behind in economy, so rather than try and contest the overall economy of jjakji, he says, let's just get good upgrades. Let's build up one big, powerful, maxed out army. And because I have less workers than you, I'm actually going to have more army supply. So I will potentially be able to find one decisive engagement and overwhelm you.
A little bit of a late reaction there from GuMiho. Loses a full medevac. And the others will unload, but that's 8 Marines and a medevac dead here, and those are losses that GuMiho can't afford to lose. I mean, he is trying to power with these upgrades, but he's really kind of married up with jjakji here, who just has a lot more army than he does. 20 extra supply and another 14 supply of workers in ahead here. He's floating out a 4th command center, and GuMiho is pretty much chilling on 2-base economy here. One of the bases is mined out.
I really like that 4th placement as well from jjakji. It's almost hidden. It really is kind of a surprise base location. Of course, GuMiho does have a 4th command center up in orbital, dropping mules this whole time. Part of why his economy is actually so strong, and something which I did miss out on. So even though GuMiho's worker count is less, as he approaches max, he will be in a good position. This is why it's jjakji's moment right now to push out and try and find some good trades. Use this advantage while their upgrades are even, while his army and economy are bigger. jjakji needs to start finding these engagements before he gives GuMiho too much space to get back in the game.
Right, and see if GuMiho gets that siege up, and he does. Both players within range of their armies. GuMiho doing a bit of damage, taking a big volley in his Marine Bowl there. And the siege tanks of GuMiho will take out one of these tanks in the south here from jjakji if he scans. Just getting out of range there.
Good vying for position from GuMiho. Holds off this push for the moment. But it looks like jjakji is hungry. He's scanning.
A lot more medevacs.
Going to come forward little bit by little bit. He's way up in the unit count here. GuMiho has to be sieged. He has to be in position. If jjakji can catch him unsieged, he's just going to obliterate him.
Yeah, jjakji's taking his time here. He doesn't want to get a boner and throw this away. He's actually in a lovely spot. So GuMiho just going to use that defender's advantage. It's not a long rally path for his units to come and reinforce this defensive position here. This is the TvT chess game that we've come to know and love since Wings of Liberty. We've got the...
okay.
Yeah.
jjakji's got the second starport producing now. If we see that production tab, Liberators and triple... Oh, actually, it's a triple starport, I believe. Oh, no, 2 reactors. Okay. So a whole lot of Vikings going to come out for the air superiority. And jjakji's going to use that, but no, he's going to see an opening here. Dives on top. Bam! Snaps 3 siege tanks apart. Going to take out a 4th one there as well. GuMiho's tank count getting very low. Those are the anchor that allows him to hold them to this defensive position, but down at just 3 siege tanks up against 6. jjakji is looking more and more frightening, and now with the Liberators and the Vikings coming in, how does GuMiho defend against this?
The Liberators help so much in this position. There they go, sieging up on top of those 3 siege tanks. Just
very
forcing them to move
nice
back.
stim
And
forward.
jjakji picking the right moments at the right time here. GuMiho has a flanking group of Marines here. Looking like he wants to try and snap a flank shot, but jjakji just has way more siege tanks. GuMiho coming for a stim. Will it be enough? It's actually a huge concave of Marines here for GuMiho, and he will clean this all up.
That was a beautiful pre-spread. GuMiho manages to snap that position right when things were looking dire. His 4th base is finally about to land on the right-hand side as well. The supply is actually tied neck and neck right now. GuMiho, with that lesser worker count, actually has a bigger army at this moment. jjakji is going to snipe this 4th base. That's an important move. His income is still way ahead.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, nice moves from jjakji, but he's got to hold up at home right now. GuMiho still has a very frightening force. I thought jjakji had this one in the bag, but GuMiho is fighting back.
It looked like it. GuMiho is such a strong Terran. He's been here before. He's doing a great job here, and that's also enough pick up there. jjakji leaving 3 medevacs unattended. They are in sense turret range, and GuMiho getting 300 worth of resources killed there. Now jjakji heading through the middle of the map, scans ahead, sees where GuMiho's army is. That's actually a lovely spot for his siege tanks to be set up here.
Sensor tower giving some very useful vision there for jjakji. So GuMiho's going to come back. He's like, all right, no need to let you have map hacks here. Still doesn't know about this 4th base on the south side of the map. I do wonder if GuMiho sees that base at all. I don't think so. But this drop is spotted on the right. Very nice.
Very nice. GuMiho going through the middle. Got rid of that sensor tower. He can take the high ground away from jjakji if he takes it easy here. They're dropping a lot of mules here on this gold base. The gold base income is actually helping out GuMiho a fair bit. So you can see that both players for the past 5 or so minutes have been really starved mineral-wise, and the income difference is incredible.
Yeah, jjakji is just in the middle of floating his main command center down to his 4th. We've got to remember, because that 4th orbital of GuMiho was sniped, jjakji is up a base. He just needs to reestablish that mining. And because he isn't going for the gold, GuMiho is actually going to stay ahead for a little while. Soon enough, jjakji will overtake him in the income. But, I mean, GuMiho being down a base for so long this game, sitting at about 50 workers almost the entire game, it's so impressive that he's keeping this going.
Not too many siege tanks with this army of GuMiho, and needs to be very careful. jjakji moving forward with these Marines trying to bait.
Oh, that is too many Marines. You've got to be careful there, jjakji.
He's just on hold position outside of siege tank range. Moves in a little bit here.
Nice positioning from jjakji. Did bait in those Marines, and then just that one volley killed like 30 Marines there. GuMiho bleeding out units right now. He was at a 40 army supply advantage. Now he's only up about 10 army supply, but he is going to jump on top of this economy. jjakji. Oh, these Marines are overstimmed from GuMiho. jjakji's going to clean it up, defends the base. Yes, he loses some workers, but he's still, even in that economy, he's got an extra base. Very nice defense by jjakji.
That's right. Of course, GuMiho does have a gold base whose income's still a little better, but mules come down to it as well, and that is a 5th base for jjakji up at the north there that GuMiho is trying to deal with. GuMiho has his own on the right, just finishing now. jjakji has a very scary high-tech army here, but GuMiho shaves off 1 tank for the north there, sieges his own on the low ground, and reinforces this with a lot of stim Marines. Just now saturating this fresh, brand new 5th base here.
That's going to be very important for GuMiho. He's at about half the income of jjakji. His gold is mining out so quickly since he was muling it so fast. But oh my gosh, players are just going to jump right past each other. It's YOLO time, base trade. There's no defending anymore. It's too hard to defend these spread out bases. Instead, attack. And that is exactly what GuMiho is going to do
Oh,
here.
jjakji a little bit late in the siege here. He's going to lose a couple of siege tanks to these Marines.
Wow, very nice focus fire from GuMiho coming in.
Oh,
Is this
GuMiho
it?
cleans it up, and he kills the medevacs as well. jjakji moving back here. He is going to get the SCVs of this gold base, but this is such a slugfest, Pig.
It's getting down and dirty right now. Neither player wants to defend. They both just want to attack each other, force the other onto the back foot. Both fourth bases are taking massive damage right now. jjakji loses his fifth base over here. The gold base did end up being defended by GuMiho. He lost a bunch of workers, but he's still got his mining up. Right now, GuMiho is up a base. He's doing very well here, fighting back. He's got more Marines and tanks taking a lot of damage from these two siege tanks.
He's not really controlling this army. He is now, though, and shaving off a couple siege tanks, and he's looking like very close to killing this orbital as well. Another base kill here for GuMiho will be so critical. He's very, very close to getting it. jjakji desperately trying to defend, but I think the siege tanks are going to DPS it down. Yes, they do. And a drop of Marines going to sprinkle those Marines all over their siege tanks, but it doesn't look like enough. GuMiho has too much, Pig.
Oh man, jjakji played so well in the early game, but GuMiho, I think he's done it. I mean, there's this drop that's been out on the map for a while. jjakji finally brings it back to his base, but it's too late. The damage has already been done. His units, yeah, there they are. Finally, what were they doing up in the corner of the map this whole time? jjakji, he had enough army, but he just wasn't quite as coordinated in the chaos. GuMiho, the guy who just loves the messy games, walking all over jjakji in this late game.
jjakji dropping. That's actually SCVs. We thought those were Marines. And GuMiho just has too much. He's coming forward again. He's starting to clean up these siege tanks. The SCVs coming in to help for jjakji, but it looks like too little too late. GG! GuMiho, the Tal Terran, gets himself game number 1. What a comeback!
An impressive feat there to come back from what was a disastrous Doom drop.
Yeah, well played there. Oh, the expertise in this matchup being shown by both players. Such a close game. So happy we get to see a series of this caliber now going towards the end of Group 3. There's actually been a ton of great games, really close games actually. A lot of the names that you don't expect or even know at all in this bracket, well, you know, not household names, playing really, really great, especially, you know, Kerr playing really, really well. Arctis is actually an insanely good Terran. I had no idea until this tournament, and I saw him play against Impact.
A lot of up-and-coming players here and a rare opportunity to see how they're going. So, guys, let's take a quick look over to the desk and see how the other games are going.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Indeed, yeah, we have one series currently going on the desk right now, as Rotterdam is in the middle of the Impact versus Lucera game, correct?
The middle, James? Well, I'm in the beginning of the second game, so there isn't really anything I can show you guys. Well, we're jumping into my screen anyway. Here's Impact on the left bottom side. He's actually
What about the right bottom? What's there?
It's Lucera!
Oh!
While this game is going on, I can talk to you guys a little bit about the first game, which was played on Proxima Station. It was a very fun ZVZ, actually, where Impact once again tried to get out a couple of Mutalisks, and Lucera dealt with it all right. Then he tried to go up to Lurkers, and I always think Lurkers in ZVZ are super cool, but Impact hit when he was maxed out on Roaches, Ravages. He had +2 missile attacks, and he was still active with those same 6-7 Mutalisks he made early on. Did a ton of work with it, and he just hit right before the +2 of Lucera, right before the Lurker then. So Impact 1-0 up.
Nicely done, nicely done. And overall, that TvT that we just saw here on the main stream
That was sick.
That was so good.
Maynard almost provoked like a mini earthquake here in the studio. Like, he just was losing it. And jjakji, he was playing so well. He had the huge supply leads. That's all I'm looking at, guys, really. And for a long time, I was thinking, yeah, that's my boy. That's why he's the GSL champ. Next thing you know, GuMiho completely turns it around. And then it was still like a close game up to a certain point, and a pretty long game, actually. Like, we haven't had that many very, very long games, but well, probably one of the best games that we've seen here at this tournament yet.
Awesome stuff. Did we get a full result on Bunny versus Kerr in the end?
Yes, Bunny won 2-1.
Okay.
Kerr, again, tried, as we saw earlier, he was trying to do that all-in early on, get the pylon up, do the pylon cannon, tried to deny the expansion, but it was pushed back, and eventually Bunny was able to march across the map and crush him.
All right, so what are we expecting now for game number 2 between jjakji and GuMiho, obviously? With that back and forth, are we expecting GuMiho to take this all the way? What are we thinking?
After a game like this, it's going to be very hard for jjakji to properly stay composed. Like, he showed good things. I don't know, like, it's TvT, you know, like, you never know. One Doom drop can change everything. So hopefully jjakji can bring it back and stay calm. But GuMiho, although he was behind for the most part of this game earlier on, that comeback was just so sick that I feel like he's got some crazy momentum going to game number 2.
You know, James, I just hope that game number 2 is not as good as game number 1. Otherwise, Maynard is done for the week.
Yeah.
Like, we can't
He's
lose.
gone.
We can't lose Maynard on day 2. So let's hope for a good game. But
on the other side of the studio, but our table's shaking down here. He's so into it. We can actually hear him from where we are.
Yeah, we can.
Here when he's
Ludo is pretty far away. Like,
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I think we shall head on over to the casters. So hashtag pray for Maynard here as we get into game number 2 between jjakji and GuMiho.
That's right, guys. Hashtag pray for me. I want to see that all over social media when I refresh my Twitter after this cast. TIL, I'm pretty loud.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
yeah. I mean, I think we need a bit of a throaty rumble in StarCraft. We need some of that hype, some of that excitement. You know, you get the hype going throughout the game, and then Nick comes in at the end and shouts GG. It's the perfect team, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what we do. He's the G screams the constantly all game. But I mean, you know, I got pretty excited there. The players, luckily, can remain calm. I don't have to. So it's the added benefit of being a commentator of this game and not a player.
I think it's probably a challenge right now for jjakji. That's not the sort of game you enjoy losing from that position. Like, you go in with that drop, you're like, maybe I kill some stuff. Fingers crossed I get lucky and I do some damage with one of the drops. And he's like, oh, I killed all the stuff in the third and the natural. I guess I win this game now. And then to lose that game, it's like, oh, man.
I mean, we were actually like, just to give you guys a bit of backstage knowledge, like we have a light switch to turn the lights on and off, and Pig was turning the lights back on because he thought, he's like, all right, well, sit down and get ready to have the camera back on us because jjakji's got this one. And he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I had to turn the light back off again. I was like, okay, yeah, GuMiho's fighting back. I did not expect that at all. And really, I think jjakji maybe sat back for a little bit too long that game. I do feel like TvT is, you know, if you're attacking, you can really make those opportunities work for you. And he finally did start pushing, but it was that very careful, liberator sort of Viking push. But this guy down here in the bottom right, he found a way to come back in that game number 1. It is Psystorm Gaming's GuMiho.
What a god. What an absolute legend of the game. And speaking of, there's another one in the bottom left corner here. That's why this series has been so good after one game. This is jjakji.
Looks like quite a young guy, but, you know, I remember the days when jjakji won GSL, and he was literally just a little kid.
So many of them were back in 2011.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the better part of a decade ago, is Pig, so it's, you know, it's a long time. StarCraft II is just getting better and better as the years go on. The players getting better and better.
It's a lot of history.
I sometimes see a lot of like people trying to wonder, like, if the Wings of Liberty players came back, would they beat the Legacy of the Void players right now? You know, and people are making arguments for Wings of Liberty players to just come back and just all of a sudden, you know, Nesty just sort of appears in Legacy of the Void and crushes everyone. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Legacy of the Void players are just so much better. It really is.
There's so much more shared knowledge in the community, in the pro scene of how to play, how to do things well. And not only that, it's some of the great mechanics that were introduced with Legacy of the Void as well, that there were just things you couldn't do physically in the game back in Wings of Liberty. But these days you can make a lot more happen. All sorts of fancy control group shortcuts and all sorts of things. But we are going to be going to Newkirk Precinct. It is going to be a Reaper expand off a gas first from both players. Very typical opening, and it looks like both guys are going to be going for that expansion. This really has become the norm in Korea recently. Players have gotten so good at defending the fast double gas opening. You still see it a bit, but I wouldn't say any more than 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 games, at least in the last couple of weeks of Korean TvT. So this is, you know, pretty much what we're expecting to see most of the time. And I am very curious, do you think they'll go Widow Mines or Cyclones again? Because it feels like people aren't just blindly going Cyclones every game
that's
anymore.
kind of the thing. Like, you used to be on one base for a while, you get 2 gases, and you just make a Cyclone, then get into a Raven, you know, tech lab on the barracks, switch it over, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's falling out of fashion. You're absolutely right. This Reaper expand's coming back, and this is sort of the build that was around before the Cyclone sort of Raven build.
I guess it just took a while to get used to defending the Cyclones, you know, a new powerful unit that's very hard hitting. Very close fight here. I think it looks like, GuMiho judged it slightly better.
GG, GuMiho 2-0.
That is so hard to judge because...
That was actually like milliseconds, like less than 100 milliseconds there. Really, really close.
It's one of the most stressful things whenever you're playing a TvT and you're trying to watch both health bars at the same time and see which one goes down quicker, and even the best players sometimes make a mistake with that.
So we're seeing slight differences in the build start to shape out here for both players. We got Widowmine's the decision here for GuMiho with his factory, and jjakji going for the Cyclone.
All right. Of course, a lot of players recently have been going for like a Cyclone drop as well, Cyclone for Marines. So
it's actually very good to go across the map with sometimes.
I feel like,
a couple units.
It's kind of nice to like scout with it, and if your opponent's going Banshee and they just kind of go across the map with it, sometimes you can do a lot of damage. And yeah, it looks like that is going to be the option here from GuMiho after his Widowmine. So it looks like GuMiho is actually going to follow up with a Cyclone and a Medevac. So both players just opening up, you know, with a mixture of Widowmines and Cyclones, just slightly different order. Viking is already on the way for jjakji, though.
Yep, Reaper sorted out here by the Marine and Cyclone combo, and getting that Viking out next as well. Just in time for this drop from GuMiho. It looks like a Widowmine and a bunch of Marines here. 6 Marines for Widowmine.
Looks like he's either going to run the Cyclone across the map to hit the front or probably just leave it at home for defense. So this early Viking for jjakji, he's really hoping that this intercepts this. The Widowmine and Marines could be very irritating.
Oh, he's actually too far south here. There's an opening for the Medevac. Not enough units in the main here for jjakji.
Actually, Cyclone and Marines are right there.
Yeah.
They haven't spotted it yet, though. Widowmine!
Get out! Don't go in!
Do not go in there. Oh my! The Viking though, the Viking, it's gonna come back.
Oh my God, it is
he's
big.
Is he gonna intercept it? I think he's gonna get it.
Yeah, he's got it. Wow.
Oh,
really good start in the early game here for jjakji. Oh, poor GuMiho. Getting a loss there. That Widowmine is just an unfortunate location where it didn't react. He doesn't look like he was looking at the drop. Didn't react in time.
jjakji playing very defensively this series. I feel like he really seems to have GuMiho's number. In terms of the openings and the play style, I feel like he got ahead last game. He's getting ahead very early on this game. However, GuMiho just showed such poise in the mid to late game. I really wonder if jjakji maybe has a little bit of a mental block at that stage. He's going to have to just power on through here and play this solidly. He's got a great start.
Looks like jjakji's moving, just setting the Cyclone out with a Widowmine here. This is interesting. Can leave that there to just catch drops heading across the map. It's one of those like, gee, I hope I catch something locations when you drop your Widowmine. And so many people actually lose dropships and, you know, whatever, Vikings and all that sort of thing, Ravens even, to the Widowmines when they mine out that far.
Lots of Marines and tanks out here for jjakji. He's going to be going to Medevacs. We saw that last game, the point when those first couple of Medevacs get out on the map is where he really wants to start dropping all over the place, looking for those angles. GuMiho, on the other hand, you know, kind of just wanted to get a bit more aggressive earlier, and so his explosion to things like Medevacs is slowed down. He also likes to have a few more Vikings in the air so that he can have that air superiority.
SpaghettiOs.
Great foresight. That's actually great.
That's great.
You don't want to waste the scan to kill that either, and there's no Raven out.
Oh my God.
So
I think the... Oh, okay, so the tank...
Yeah,
this is actually a battle I've not seen before. It's an unsieged tank versus a Cyclone. I'm actually going, does the Cyclone... Wait, does the Cyclone? No.
I think if they just sit there and fight, the Cyclone might just barely win. But with the starter step, of course, the siege tank is going to be much better off moving and shooting.
Sometimes forget how much DPS an unsieged tank has. It's like pretty insane.
Yeah, against armored, it's not bad at all. Of course, quite a fragile unit though. jjakji starting to posture around, looking for a nice angle. A couple of drops do come out and spot this.
Yeah, scan there from GuMiho. He's caught jjakji here for this drop. Not enough Medevacs to load it all up, but he is going to start moving forward here. Unloading here at the potential third base location of GuMiho. jjakji's starting to move in, but he is starting to walk into siege tank range, so be very careful here.
Oh, more drops coming across the map. jjakji just wants to distract with this army, maybe get an angle on maybe a siege up on the north side of the natural, and GuMiho's actually lost tracking of this army.
Yeah,
he doesn't see it. The drop's coming towards the main at the same time. GuMiho isn't in position to stop either of these.
Oh, this is going to be a great position for jjakji if he gets his tanks up, and he will. And this is going to force GuMiho to have to move down and deal with this. In the meantime, there is a drop of jjakji heading into the main, and GuMiho not in position to deal with it.
Just a single siege tank up there, but nice drop positioning from jjakji, way behind the mineral line. GuMiho is going to be forced to stim forward here, does eat a few nasty siege tank shots, does end up cleaning it up, but at the same time, the main base siege tank goes down, all the SCVs being pulled off the line, and Medevac gets sniped. jjakji on fire right now with these multi-pronged drops.
Now he killed 5 SCVs. That's actually not a ton of damage. It's a little bit more resources lost for GuMiho, but it's actually still quite an even game here for both players.
Yeah, is there a third command to divide the player? No, there is not just yet. So both players are really just on 2 base for a long time. This is very common, especially on Newkirk Precinct. A lot of players do look for those drop angles. There's a lot of 2 base action. I mean, TvT in general, you don't want to risk going too hard into your economy and then just get overwhelmed.
That is a Doom drop right there. Lots of Medevacs full of units here for GuMiho. jjakji did catch that with the Cyclone, and he's just going to drop out because you really don't want to commit with the Doom drop when the player knows it's coming. You're going to have a stim ball of Marines right under those Medevacs, and it looks like GuMiho is going to try and take that third here while pushing forward. He knows that the third location of jjakji is empty.
You said you don't commit, Maynard, but mind games just pick you unload, and then you pick back up, and then you go anyway.
You wait 10 seconds, and then you do it again.
jjakji's counter drop hitting the natural right now is going to be stimming on in there. Catches GuMiho completely unprepared, and that also forces GuMiho's hand. GuMiho's diving into the main base, but jjakji is on top of it. I think he has enough to overwhelm this. The tanks go down, the Marines shut it down. GuMiho's drop is held. jjakji did, oh wow, did a nice bit of damage.
Yeah, actually, but jjakji lost a lot more SCVs than GuMiho did.
Yeah, I was kind of struggling to read those numbers there for a moment, but he actually didn't get that many SCVs in GuMiho's natural. GuMiho was quicker with the pull, whereas using the SCVs to buffer did mean that jjakji sacrificed a lot of economy. He's got a big army advantage right now, but that army advantage is going to fall away with his smaller income. I feel like jjakji needs to just move across the map right now. GuMiho, he's got a third base down as well. If he can protect that, then things are going to be really hard.
What? So he's pulling this base up from the third base location. Maybe he feels like there's going to be an attack.
He knows there's got to be a counter push, right? He knows he killed so many SCVs, so he's like, all right, just turtle up on 2 bases, just don't die. If I can just survive, I know I've got more economy than you, and in a minute or two, I can move back down and retake that third once I have more army out.
Yeah, so well read here by GuMiho. Does lose a bit of an income advantage with not having the third, but losing it would be pretty devastating. So he's just splitting some units off into the main, looking for that. If jjakji wants to split this units off, he wants to go straight, consolidate all of his forces, go straight to the natural, or if he wants to break them off and go for the main while attacking the natural, it looks like he's going to go for
great
the
positioning on these
GuMiho
Marines.
just missed it.
But nice movement from jjakji. The thing is, time is ticking by. The clock is ticking away, and GuMiho is way out producing jjakji with every second that goes by. jjakji does have 2-2 on the way.
Oh, GuMiho just keeps slightly missing these Doom drops.
Oh, he is way out of position. This is not the hugest army. It's a bit of a Viking skirmish over here. jjakji just going to bide his time for now, but jjakji is not rebuilding SCVs. He's up an upgrade. He's on 2-1 versus 1-1. He's got +2 armor on the way, but he's pretty much all in. Look, GuMiho scans. He sees no third base. I think GuMiho has a good idea that jjakji's economy is down in the dumps right now. He knows he just needs to not give jjakji that angle. He can't give him that opportunity, but he still has no idea about this Doom drop, and it's moving in towards that natural or adjusting. It's pausing for a moment. This is so tense right now.
This is jjakji's lifeline in these several medevacs, these 5 medevacs up here. So 6 medevacs full of units, and they drop it into the natural. There is a siege tank here for GuMiho, and it looks like jjakji's going straight for the main, straight for the production. Will it be enough? GuMiho coming back with his Liberators and his Vikings. The Marines coming in for the low ground. jjakji is starting to hit that production.
And that siege tank on the ramp actually blocking GuMiho's reinforcements, but his Marines are finally going to get up there. He is going to start to break his way up this ramp, but jjakji coming in from the natural at the same time with the reinforce. This is such an awkward position. All of GuMiho's production is getting shredded away. Remember, there's that great upgrade advantage here for jjakji. Coming in from the flank on the natural, the siege tanks are going down. I think jjakji's done it. GuMiho's falling apart here. The reinforcements running up that ramp, and jjakji takes it out.
Well played by jjakji, and we're going to go to game 3, and that's got me excited. What a nail-biting, extremely explosive, literally and figuratively series here between jjakji and GuMiho.
It's great to see jjakji show that sort of poise and that patience in such a dicey situation. Going to go great for him. He was going to clear out GuMiho's natural when they both kind of dropped each other at the same time, but GuMiho pulled the SCVs away. He didn't lose the command center, and jjakji only got a couple of workers and lost his entire main mineral line holding off the drop of GuMiho. So For jjakji to stabilize from there, to calmly say, let's not just run and headbutt into the natural of Marines and tanks. Let's take our time with this. That was great decision-making from jjakji. He finally found that opening in the back of the main, and it worked out.
All right, so before we go into the deciding match here for this second qualifying match, let's go to the boys on the desk to see what they have to say about the other games.
Thank you very much, guys. Of course, yeah, 1-1 currently at the moment. The series that we were in terms of Lucira versus Impact has just concluded, and we were just filtering through one of the replays to show you some of the final moments from that game number 3. Are you ready, Rotterdam?
I'm pretty much ready.
Okay.
I can talk to you guys about game number 2 as well. That was on Newkirk. Once again, Impact wanted to go for some mutas.
Yeah.
And this time said Lucira, you know, so he went for some Queen Knights with a couple of Lings and Banes.
Okay.
Took out the third base. It was still kind of close because the mutas did clean up the Queens, but eventually nothing but Lings and Banes just kept streaming across the map. So Lucira opened up this, even up the series. This was game 3, and I actually felt that the game was going all right for Lucira. He's down 10 army supply here, and this is the point where Impact just said, like, well, you kind of all in me in game number 2. I'm going to return the favor here in game number 3. I'll fast forward it a little bit because this went on for a while, and I kept thinking if Lucira stabilizes, you know, he had a layer, he had a Roach Warren, and it really felt he was preparing for the next stage in the game, but Impact was not. He just kept making Lings and Banes, and I just felt the Roach transition was perhaps a tiny bit too early. A couple of decent Baneling connections, safe to say. And at this point, all the Roaches that popped, they just kind of got picked off one by one by one. And that was it. Impact wins.
That fine line that you walk when you try and transition on in those early stages of Zerg versus Zerg. Overall, though, we're currently in a 1-1 situation here in this TvT. And so far, it seems like a very close back and forth between these two Terran players.
Yeah, this has been a great series so far. It's a total bloodbath. Super back and forth. I really don't know who's going to win, though, to be totally honest. It seems like they're pretty evenly matched. There's a lot of really good plays, but then there's some really, I guess you could say, exciting mistakes that are occurring. They're actually just like enhancing this entire best-of-3 experience.
I still feel, though, that GuMiho is behind in almost every game, and he makes it super close or even wins the first one. What happens if he doesn't fall behind? Shouldn't
He seems to be a slow starter, though. He's happened every game so
Yeah.
far, so we'll see if he can correct that.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now back on to game number 3 here to find out who is going to qualify for the group stage here at the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.
That's right. The final map to decide between these two incredible Terrans. Which one of them is going to move on straight away and join Nurchio in the round of 24 at Spodek Arena? Pig, what are your predictions? The desk is a little bit split on this one.
You know, I think history means a lot. I think it's hard. If you've lost your last 4 matches, is jjakji here against GuMiho? How do you get over this hurdle? And especially after that game 1. But he showed good poise in that last game. He showed good decision-making under pressure. There's definitely the promise there for jjakji. It's anyone's game at this point. Whoever keeps it together psychologically at this point will be the victor.
That's right. Let's introduce these players before we get into it. In the bottom right of Abyssal Reef, this is GuMiho.
And his opponent spawning up here in the top left-hand side, representing Team Revolution. It is jjakji.
Great to be seeing these incredible Korean players find a home in other teams since the dissolving of Casper and so on and so forth. But GuMiho, he's being a cheeky boy in game number 3 here.
Cheeky, Kalaris.
Cheeky, Roddy cheeky.
Looks like it's going to be a 3-Rax proxy Reaper. A rush
yeah,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see very much anymore, partly because Cyclones are very good at, killing many, many Reapers if you can manage to get one out. The thing is, a lot of players are just going for this expand, and they're not scouting again, which is fantastic against. But jjakji, he's going for the double gas this game. Here in game number 3, he's doing that. He's even sending out an SCV scout.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. jjakji's going to have a super early factory. He's going to scout no buildings in the main of GuMiho and know what's coming. I can't see this working out very well for GuMiho.
Yeah, he's going to have that Cyclone pretty much immediately. It'll be the first unit out of that factory for almost for sure. For jjakji, and GuMiho could, like on paper, looks like he's going to be counted here. That shark is still asleep. Hopefully he's not floating upside down. That would suck.
Of course, anything can happen whenever you've got 3-Rax Reaper. If he can manage to catch jjakji's first Reaper, if jjakji slips up his micro a little bit, things can still spiral out of control
It's just
really
2 Reaper,
quickly.
not 3. He does scout in here and has a look here.
Okay.
Up into the main to see what's going on the wall.
Yeah, this is a much less like sort of all-in build. It's much more of a transitionary pressure when it's only the 2-Rax. So looks like good defense so far here from jjakji. Just needs to hang on here.
Yeah, so basically, with this being 2 racks instead of 3 racks, means that GuMiho has an option to be able to transition from here, but is certainly going to be put behind if it gets shut down without doing damage.
Yeah, he's already got a factory going down behind this. He's going to jump up with these 2 Reapers. They're going to try and focus fire down.
They will get it!
Nice focus fire from GuMiho. Almost seamless move and shoot micro there. He's going to delay that starport and start to take down these SCVs. Another Reaper is out here for jjakji, but 3rd Reaper joins up. The Cyclone needs to come out. It needs to rescue him right now. jjakji's taking massive SCV losses.
He actually went for Hellion first here instead of Cyclone.
Oh, wow.
But using the Hellion along with the SCVs to stop these Reapers. It is a very fast, very good
Oh,
unit.
the Hellion's going to get focused down, though. It's
the
so
SCV's
low.
actually blocked it, and he couldn't escape. Oh, GuMiho's got the pick off.
GuMiho is just killing everything. There's nothing left. Another Reaper's going to be popping in a moment, but he's already taking too much damage. jjakji falling apart under the pressure of this aggressive rush, and GuMiho with the pressure opening finds himself with even more damage than he could have possibly imagined.
GuMiho! He's so close to getting this. Critical damage against jjakji here. The second Hellion comes out with plenty of hit points, and it does force him away for now. They are all still alive, these Reapers of GuMiho, and he's transitioning back at home as well. He can send that Cyclone across the map, maybe even use the starport to come and reinforce this and just apply constant pressure to jjakji here, who's already floundering against these very, very early Reapers of GuMiho.
Nice micro so far. The Reapers are starting to finally fall, but so many SCVs have gone down. He does trade them out for the Reaper there at the end. Tail end of that, what do we see? 12 SCVs for jjakji, up against 25 from GuMiho. Cyclones are out. GuMiho already beginning to expand. This has been a fantastic opening.
Yeah, GuMiho in a lovely spot here at the early stages of Game 3. Definitely with the advantage. Of course, we know from Game 1, anything can happen in this matchup. There could be a comeback, so let's not call it too early here. Cloak on the way for jjakji with the Banshee. So this is going to be a nice follow-up if GuMiho doesn't opt for the Raven or for Viking or anything back at home. He does have, well, I mean, he is getting a Viking, but will he go for Raven next? Will he have scans? Will he have turrets? These are all questions that will be answered in time.
Barracks are going to float on home there. The starport is building a tech lab, as is that factory.
So it looks like Raven going to be the follow-up, possibly.
Yeah, it would definitely be a solid way to do things. There's going to be a siege tank coming out as well, and jjakji, I do like Cloak Banshees from this position. I mean, you got to try to do something to get back in the game, so why not throw out the Cloaked Banshee, hope you catch GuMiho unawares. You are way behind. He's going to have a poke up here with the 2 Hellions and the Cyclone, but that does not beat 2 Cyclones.
Hellions are pretty useless against Cyclones here. And just looking like he's going to use that tech lab to just get stim a little bit quicker here for the bio and not going to use it to get a Raven or a Banshee of his own. So the engineering bay is almost done, so he can get a turret up, but possibly not in time for this Banshee.
He's going to need to build it really soon.
Yeah, he's going to need to make
especially if he drops another mule or 2. He's not going to be ready for this.
He does have a scan on that main at the moment.
What does he have that shoots up, though? Does he even have Vikings out? I mean,
he has a Viking.
He's got 2 Cyclones, but those Cyclones are moving out across the map. Oh, this might just be... Okay, missile turret starts in the natural, but still nothing in the main. This might be the perfect timing, the perfect move to get jjakji back into this game. Keep in mind, guys, jjakji still hasn't even started this expansion. He's on 1 base. He's going to get in here, though.
Kills here.
A lot of damage starting out with this Banshee.
There's a scan.
The Cyclones are back here, along with this Viking. He's going to need to drop that scan.
And he needs to make the scan count as well. Looks like he only has the 1. He's taking his time, waiting for the Cyclone to get in range with the Viking as well. 2 Cyclones and a Viking should lock on and kill this Banshee. Will he get out of range in time? He does save it.
Nice moves by jjakji here. 5 SCVs starts to equalize a little bit, but
turret here.
He needs to do more. He needs to find more damage. He needs to keep throwing GuMiho off because you guys know what jjakji's plan is from here. It's to try to kill him on 1 base. He's coming across the map with siege tanks, marines, that Cyclone. Every single unit that he has is going across the map. He needs to try to win the game right here, right now.
And Banshee again getting out of scan range there of GuMiho. jjakji keeping it alive. And yeah, you're absolutely right. He is just pumping out units here, and he wants to try and kill GuMiho right here, right now. Will he be able to? This siege tank's going to be a little bit annoying, especially if the Banshee takes the siege tank out. No! GuMiho gets that pick off on the Banshee. His siege tank still alive, but the SCVs couldn't keep it alive for now, and it's just too much. jjakji did not have what he needed to finish off GuMiho after taking a huge disadvantage in the early game, and the Tau Terran will qualify along with Nurchio for the round of 24.
Nice pressure opening from GuMiho, and really just a little bit of a slip up from jjakji on that defensive micro. Didn't have quite enough SCVs pulled, didn't retreat his Reaper quick enough, And those Reapers, that fantastic focus fire from GuMiho, he just slid his way seamlessly through the SCVs as if they were all butted up and just focused down the Reapers. Great pressure from GuMiho. I can't imagine he gets that much damage done very often.
Now, jjakji fans, do not despair. He goes down to the losers bracket where he has another shot at to be able to qualify. So he could very well be going along with GuMiho at the end of the day. So we'll be going to losers bracket pretty shortly. But first of all, let's take a little bit of break. Then we'll have the winners interview and we'll go to the boys at the desk. Do not go away. We'll see you soon.